Good gaming, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Nader. Today we're gonna watch some Noob play cEDH. Got a few friends around for a little small event. Playing last week. So it was a quick game. ObNix lists, WUBRGSisay, BlueFarm, and Talion. You will most recognize the tattoos of the guy playing Talion. The other people are good regulars. I'd like to thank once again the guy at Red One in Dorval. So my door is open. No insulation in my office. Such a difference having some good suggestions on equipment. So Deck Tech ObNix will want to get out to and get a bunch of pings for one. Every time he pings for one, he will exile a card that he can play until next end of turn. Until his end of turn, and a +1/+1. Sisay is a I want to go fetch some answers, and I want to be able to make some infinite combos with creatures, taxi creatures, or planeswalker. BlueFarm is BlueFarm. BlueFarm is called farm because they want to draw, which is insanely powerful deck. There's a reason why they're number one. Talion is I built it somewhat as a mill deck. Of course, you've got Sheldred, which when you draw, you gain life, your opponent lose life. And you've got Bloodchief Ascension, so when a card hits the graveyard, your opponent loses 2 and you gain 2 if you've got the 3 quest counters. But it's different. Playing Control Mill in cEDH has not been that bad. Different gameplay to the Magda that I usually play, and I need to learn how to play blue. So if you're not editing videos to learn all of the different decks, one of the best way to learn is to grab something that you are at the complete opposite of and force yourself to play that deck. I hate blue. My friends were telling me, why don't you play Bloodpod, which is Timnatana, which is Sans Blue, Food Chain, and Dockside Shenanigans. But me, I need to learn. So I've got my Magda and I've got my Talion, and not super good at counterspell. Maybe I should be more greedy like the BlueFarm player and counter only when he needs to protect a win. And we're gonna go and see how I fare. So ObNix at least started, dropped a land. WUBRGSisay will go get a Tundra, I believe. Red-white to swing in Ragavan in. So BlueFarm player plays a fetch. He will drop a Mana Crypt. And passes. Talion, UC Mystic Remora. Sad for a 4th seat. ObNix goes to crack. Oh, Hopo Agent on the crack on the first fetch. Brutal for the ObNix player. So ObNix will get his Badlands stolen from his library. Will play a Homeward Path. No color for his deck. Let's see how it goes. Ragavan swings at ObNix. Wheel of Fortune would be something. So drops Catilda. Catilda makes all legendary, all humans as becomes mana dork. So it could be useful. So of course BlueFarm drops a fetch and goes fetch with it. How dare he? Taps for 2. Smothering Tide. Smothering Tide is actually one of the worst cards. If you thought Rhystic or Mystic was bad, Smothering Tide is insanely powerful. Because that's it. He asked me, do you want to draw on... do you... Well, not on that, but every time you draw, he makes a treasure. Or you could pay 2. But who has the mana to pay 2 for Smothering Tide? If you thought Rhystic was bad as attacks, Smothering Tide is even worse. Especially that you will see later, he actually plays a card to make me draw so that you get a treasure to get the treasure to cast something else so that I draw so that I... And it's a May, of course. I could have stopped drawing, but you don't play a Mystic to not be greedy. ObNix, so let's get Signet. Sisay. 1 treasure. Catilda is a mana dork. So that's 4 mana, 5 if he swings with Rag. So ObNix is pretty sure he's gonna go attack, and I said nope. I'm going to the BlueFarm. BlueFarm as a Hanaz, so you need to drop his life as much as possible. He will drop Sisay out. So BlueFarm has 4, 5, 6 mana. 8 mana with the Mana Crypt. I'm hoping he will kill himself with the Crypt because he lost 2 in a row. Tree for Rhystic. Fish Trigger. I'll just say, sure, I'll draw. Make a treasure. Offer you can't refuse. So dropping an offer so that the Rhystic doesn't hit the board. He already has Smothering Tide. He does not need extra cards. Tap for 2. Bauble. Not gonna pay, so he makes a treasure. So it's a free Bauble at that point. Good. No, not good. Mental misstep on the Bauble. He will make a treasure. So on Vexing Bauble, he made 2 treasures. So he is net positive. Casting one CMC shit. Take 3 to cast Timna. There's no reason for Timna not to be good. Will cast Soul Ring, Mystic triggers. He'll make a treasure, it's a free Soul Ring. But the name of the game is trying to draw cards to find answer. Two and 3. Chrome drops in. Plays ObNix Badland. So deal 2 damage, lose 2, draw 2. So that's the reason he didn't need, on top of that, the Rhystic. Why does he need the heuristic if he gets so many other good stuff? Arcan Signet Fish makes a treasure. One, two, Ranger Captain. And with that, he'll go get Esper Sentinel and we'll cast Esper. So yeah, turn 3, Smothering Tide. We see the power of Smothering Tide. It is what it is. I do not pay for the fish. I actually drew up to 11 cards if I remember correctly. Cyclonic Rift on the Smothering Tide, at least buying us a bit of respite. Hoping that it's gonna be worth it. We know he's gonna recast it. It's not gonna be a long-term thing. But we need to try something. Next, let's drop some March Flats. Does not want to crack the March Flats. He should. Fetching is fetching. I'm just kidding. I know the Oppo is there. Plays it Unstable Amulet. That card is cool because it allows you to exile a card to play until next turn. And if you cast a card, you deal exactly 1 damage to something, which triggers ObNix. You can play land, but it will not deal 1 damage since it's not cast, it's play. Hull will be 1, which is one of the combo with ObNix. So as soon as you put a counter on a creature, you deal 1 damage. So if you deal 1 damage, ObNix gets a trigger, a counter. So a counter will happen. The all will be 1 will ping for 1. 1 damage was dealt. ObNix will get a counter, and then it just goes infinite like this. So on the BlueFarm upkeep, I go and swing wide. I'm targeting Oppo, Timna, Chrome, and Ranger. He keeps telling me that I should not remove Opposition Agent, but he's so far ahead, and I'm like, I'm not worried about cEDH, and a bunch of cEDH player will always have a knee-jerk reaction, and they will go on the board right now. cEDH as 9 mana, so on her turn she could actually do 2. Well, she can do 1 search, then do 2 search on her turn if she drops a land and she gets treasure. So BlueFarm will crack Ranger Captain. Why? I don't know. So maybe so that we don't have any answer to whatever. So Lotus Petal. BlueFarm is cooking. Recast Smothering Tide. Passes the turn. So I drop an Emergent Zone last turn, so I can play at instant speed. 1/2 for Limdal's Vault. Born upon a wind from the blue farm. You see right away cEDH Warrior Captain going to get Herte. Herte will trigger the Born Upon a Wind. And then that's when you need to explain why you go to Born Upon a Wind, because he says, I only want to draw something. And if it was only that, sure, you can go and draw. That's not an issue. But at that point, cEDH could have kept up her activation. Is Herte a human? Let me give a second. Herte is a fire action human wizard. So yeah. He will be a Matadork for Catilda. And human creatures. Yeah, so Catilda is not... She gives the ability with a tap outlet, and it's not like... What is it? Urza? Oh, and Nuz. So I was talking about Urza because Urza gives the artifact. So he has an untapped artifact to get a blue. So it's not the same as Catilda that gives the creature so we'll see the Tainted Pack, Ad Nauseam, Tainted Pack, Mana Crypt, Vexing Bauble, DCM, Chrome Mux, Land, Urza Saga, Petal, Calling the Weak, Manavolt, Goblin Engineer, Land Fire Covenant, Doughty Walker, Burgi, REB. I don't remember if it's REB. It is REB because something happens with Pyro later. So the one thing that happened that would not have changed the game, but if you have Burgi on end with a bunch of 0 CMC, keeping them in hand will allow you to make an extra red by casting them. So he still have City of Brass. He could drop his Mana Crypt, City of Brass Mana Crypt for Burgi. Then he can drop Chromux Lotus Petal for 2 red. And he can just play Mana Vault for free. And he already starts his turn with, he already start his post Adnos scene with 2 red. So let's see, I don't remember. So Chromux into Fire Covenant. This is good because Chromux will be able to tap for any that he needs. So Mana Crypt, Lotus Petal, so Crypt for Mana Vault. And I believe it's at this point that he tries to cast so you see he casts Pyretic Ritual for 3 red and 2 colorless for Burgi. So at this point he would be 4 red up because Pyretic Ritual would have given not 3 but 4. Doesn't change the game. Goblin Engineer, I caught what he is searching, but he's going and putting Walking Ballista into the bin. At this point, he has a plan in the head. Of course, all will be one is exiled, so he has to find a different way to get to it. Goblin Engineer got the Walking Ballista, which is one of his combo piece with ObNix. Calling the Weak to get a bunch of mana. will go Tainted Pack. He doesn't have to mention what he's going for, but he's saying, I got a Soul Cauldron, unless you find something else interesting. But at this point, unless it's really, really bad, he doesn't need to go for whatever else. So we see DCM in end. Rakdos Charm is not useful. So 2 Burgi mana for Soul Cauldron. He will go get back a Burgi mana. So on the Burgi trigger, BlueFarm will cast something. So whenever a trigger happens, you can always react to the trigger going on the stack. You don't have to tell them, sure, you can get your extra mana from Burgi. No. So on the cast trigger, on the cast, you get a trigger for Burgi, and I am going to answer to that trigger. This is where he is going with that. BlueFarm goes for a Demonic Consultation. He doesn't have... Does he have to say it right away when it... I believe he says it on trigger. So ObNix looks into his graveyard. He is searching for his Pyroblast. So red, and black, he will go and cast DCM. On DCM, he's saying, I'm going to copy Demonic Consultation, but he doesn't have to mention anything. So DCM ETBs copies Consultation. So he'll copy Consultation, and he's asking, I want to go get Pyroblast. 6th card is the Pyroblast. So he has to exile all his library. Let's just hope so the only way he could lose right now is if he draws a card. Omnixilus, the BlueFarm player, is thinking, and he's saying, I have nothing that could be drawing a card at instant speed. So Omnixilus has enough mana to cast Hub and Agatha Soul Cauldron to start the Walking Ballista combo. So BlueFarm is he's saying, I'm going for Cyclonic Rift. Then he will go into his library, get Cyclo. With Cyclo in hand, he allows the Agatha Soul Cauldron to resolve. So he has 5 mana in his pool. We'll take 4 for ObNix. So on the cast, on the Burgi triggers, that is when I believe he should... Well, I believe he should have reacted to Agatha being resolved. So ObNix resolve. ObNix would try to exile Walking Ballista to give ObNix a +1/+1. So when you exile with Agatha Soul Cauldron, all creature with a +1/+1 will get the ability of the exiled creature. So calling the weak on the Esper, getting 4 mana. 4, 5, 6, 7. And he will overload Cyclonic Rift. So, yep. Using a red to REB Cyclonic Rift. So I'm showing that the only answer I've got was a, I believe it's a Pact of Negation or Force of Negation. But then again, Force of Negation has no use because Vexing Bubble is there. So at that point, we don't have any answers and we just say GG Hub. Quick explanation of the combo. So like I was saying, when you use a Goddess Soul Cauldron, you tap to exile a creature. You put a +1/+1 on something. In this case, it'll put it on ObNix. So the with Walking Ballista, you can remove a +1/+1 to deal 1 damage. If you do 1 damage to a player, ObNix gets a +1/+1, and you exile a card from your library. Doesn't matter; it doesn't have any. So you can do ObNix. Grab the counter from ObNix to ping a player for 1, gets a +1/+1 on ObNix, remove it to ping for 1, gets a +1/+1 on ObNix, and congratulations, Mr. ObNix. This was a clean win after being stolen his Badlands. So congratulations to that player. Thank you very much for being here. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next game.